How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the channel. I'm Josh, aka the Cop Tribunal, and today I'm going to be building Andoni Iraola's perfect £200 million transfer window. You're seeing this, it is currently Wednesday, the 16th of July. I'll be live later tonight on my channel, hopefully with some guests, but potentially just on my own, to go through, give our reaction to the Argentina game against England, in which England lose 2-1, and preseason analysis so far from what we've seen from the first day of preseason and any breaking transfer news that does happen throughout the day. With that being said, people, please like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. It would mean a lot if we could get there by the end of August. That's the goal. It may be realistic, it may not. But with that being said, let's get straight into it, people. First and foremost, we are going to go through the incomings, and then we're going to go through the outgoings, and then I'm going to bring up a graphic with all of it combined. So, first incoming, probably the most important marquee signing, I should say, of the summer transfer window is going to be Bradley Barcola for £110 million. Now, what I will say is this summer is 200 million net spend, so not 200 million spent total, because with that we won't be able to address a lot of the glaring issues. This isn't a realistic, this is a dream scenario within expectations. So there's not going to be Mbappe, Yamal, Pacho on it. It's not going to be anything like that. This is realistic signs that we can make, but the perfect scenario of that situation. So for me, straight away, Bradley Barcola needs to come in and be the starting left wing. Uh, Dynamism, pace, explosiveness, creativity. He adds all. Not the most clinical of players, but I think gets overhyped how uh, poor of a finisher he is. He's not an awful finisher. Yes, he's had some big missed chances, but most players, I mean, people need to understand, not every player these days is Mane and Salah, where every shot is a goal. You look at some of the best players in the world, not all of them are super clinical. I would say Dembele is not the most clinical player in the world, more clinical than Barcola, obviously. But we are not signing one of the best Ballon d'Or level wingers in the world. We are signing a player who's only 23, has potential to be world class, in my opinion, isn't far off already as it is. Adds a new level of two footedness, can play off both sides, very versatile. Adds that to the squad as well, which is something we lacked last season, especially with our wingers. So let me know what you guys think. Bradley Barcola would be my first signing for Iraola in the summer. Obviously, I haven't included players like Munoz in this because he is already a Liverpool player. Next up, we have Manu Kone. For me, a must in midfield. He is an absolutely brilliant player. Offers versatility to play the 6 and the 8 at a high level. Can drop down, be our defensive player, our destroyer, our 6, the one that we've been looking for, searching for, that we haven't had from Gravenberch, who, for me, will still play an integral part in the season. Probably isn't going to start. I'm going to be totally honest, isn't going to start, but Kone is just a different profile of player, offers something completely different. Let me know what you guys think. For me, Manu Kone would only cost about £45 million from Roma. Had a great World Cup for France. If you guys watched him, unfortunate to start in that Spain game, but Spain showed too much quality for the French. Like I said, as it says on the graphic, he's powerful. He is a smart player, got a great range of passing, relentless, will press, will win the ball back, doesn't care about getting stuck in or doing the dirty work. And if you know me and what I've been speaking about with Cal, he is my first choice midfield signing that's available at the moment. Next up, actually, chat quickly. Let me know in the comment section down below if you are watching. Who would be your dream signings or perfect window for Iraola within reason, of course. Like I said, I've set myself a budget of about 200 million net spend. I think in the end I go over by a couple million. I think about 10 million. But within reason, let's say I'll give you a buffer of 15 million, but try and spend 200 million. Let me know who would be your dream signings down below, guys. Up next, Lutra Shield. I've always felt like Lucha Real. That's it. Lucha Real Getruda. Versatile backline. Versatile across the backline. Can play left back, right back, and centre back in an emergency. For me, we need a starting right back. He would be that. I believe we are going to create plenty of chances with the midfield and attack. And with Kirkes being an overlapping attacking fullback, you want a right back who's going to stay back, defend, lock up shop, and is not going to leave our two centre backs overly exposed. We know In January, we were going in for him. Unfortunately, couldn't get the deal done. But it wouldn't surprise me if we went back in for him because I think he is the perfect, versatile backline player for Iraola's system. Strong, versatile, composed, only 25, not going to cost a lot, only about 30 million. I think personally he would be a great addition to the squad. I know certain people might not agree. Maybe they feel he's not as good, but if you watched him at Sunderland last season, he was amazing for them. Maybe not amazing, but in a system where there's going to be less emphasis on him constantly defending all the time, I think he would shine in that system. Now, this next player, ladies and gentlemen, he's a maverick. He's one of the greatest young players in the world if you have watched him in the French league. I've personally been advocating for him extremely. I would love to sign this player. The player I'm talking about is Diego Moreira. Now, again, if you've been watching my videos, you know I've done nothing but harp on about this guy, and I will continue to because I believe he is one of the best young talents in Europe. Explosive, direct, fearless, just to name a few, is the most versatile player probably in Europe at the moment, at least one of. Left wing, right wing, midfield at a push, but more of an attacking midfielder. Uh, Left and right side midfield, both fullbacks, extremely two-footed. You probably couldn't tell the difference in his left and right foot if you hadn't seen him before. Like I said, fearless, ability to take players on one-on-one, not super clinical. That is something he definitely needs to work on. But if we are being linked with players like Yankuba Minter, who personally I wouldn't go near, 35 million, I think you get everything the exact same out of Diego Moreira, plus the added benefits that I've named. He's primarily a right wing. His underlying numbers weren't amazing for Strasbourg last year. I think he had 13 GA in 27 games, which isn't bad, especially considering he played parts of the season at left back, full back, outside. He never had a lockdown position. For me, he would be that versatile, can play completely across the front line, can fill in emergencies at left back and right back. It's a no-brainer for me for 35 million as his release clause. It's a no-brainer for me that we go and bring in Diego Moreira. I'm not going to harp on too much more about him because I've done a lot of that this summer. Pardon me. But he is honestly my first choice signing this summer. I don't say that lightly. And if he turns out not to work out, then I've got to eat my words. But I believe he will be a success for whatever team he goes to. I just hope it's us. Next up, we have Nico Schlotterbeck. People may say the price for him is quite low on here. You probably wouldn't get him for 40 million. I believe personally you could get him for about 40 to 50 million, especially coming off another injury now. Uh, I know if any of you guys have been watching Cal, he is a big fan of Nico Schlotterbeck, as am I. Injuries are a bit of a worry about him, but the upside that you have with a 26-year-old who has played in Europe, played at the top level in Germany, composed on the ball, reliable, strong, fast, quick, versatile, can fill in at left back. 40 to 50 million, I don't think you'll take much of a gamble with Schlotterbeck because when he plays, you are getting one of the best defenders in Europe. If you guys have watched him at Dortmund or if you watched him at Freiburg, I believe, before he joined Dortmund, you know the type of talent he is. I believe he would come in, play alongside, maybe not start initially, but will play a lot of minutes because I would rest Virgil a lot this season. But he would then be, once Virgil inevitably leaves next summer, he would be the replacement that's standing, who is already accustomed to the system and the style of play that Iraola would like to play with. Again, very good passing out from the back, which is why I believe he would work in Iraola's system. Another thing that I didn't mention with Moreira, very good presser. Schlotterbeck, very press resistant, good on the ball. Uh, Not a super amazing ball carrier, but can definitely turn and avoid the pressure from the opposing team. Now, this is a player we have actually been linked with in the past couple of days. Man United have also been linked with him. But for 30 million, I don't think you could go wrong with João Gomez. Again, you might argue it might be a little bit more than that. But for me, if you were signing Manu Kone, he is a perfect player to play alongside him. He wouldn't come in as a starter for me. He would obviously start games, but if you ask me to do my first choice 11, which I'm going to save for another video next week, potentially with Matt and Cal, he would be brilliant in that team. 25 years old, young, has Premier League experience, was arguably Wolves' best player last season. He's intelligent on the ball, not the greatest in terms of advanced attacking metrics or as a player, but as a ball winner, hungry, reliable, composed on the ball, very rarely loses it. A good range of passing. Like I said, can play as the 6'8", similar to Kone, but different profiles of player. He can go forward, hasn't got the best shot on him, but tends to play the right pass in the advanced areas. So for me, for 30 to 40 million, João Gomez would be another brilliant incoming. We've got two more players left I believe we should sign this summer, and then we'll move on to the outgoings, and then I'll bring up the chart at the end with the relative net spend. Next up for me would be another centre back. This is to come in and start Joe Ordonez, 30 million from Club Bruges. I believe you could get him. They might ask for more than that. He did have a good World Cup, but 22. He's strong. He's composed. He's commanding, as it says there on the graphic. He is a good player on the ball. Very tall. I believe about 6'3" or 6'4". Very well built. Very athletic. Very quick. Has again a good range of passing. Is press resistant. Very tough. Not afraid to get into a tackle, but isn't necessarily rash with the way that he does attack uh, the ball or the player. Uh, Again, plays in Belgium, which I know isn't an amazing league for translating to the Premier League, but I think he has all the attributes and physical attributes to be a success at Liverpool. And for 30 to 40 million, I don't see it as much of a risk in that department. Last incoming, guys, is going to be Mohamed Kudus. For me, the starting right winger, at least for this season. 55 million is the rumoured fee that Tottenham would ask for him. It's looking like he's not going to be in their plans. I understand there are injury worries to do with Mohamed Kudus and that we might not see him as consistently, but that is why I signed a player like Diego Moreira, who can find minutes in other parts of the squad, but can also play as a right winger as his main position. If you've watched Kudus for Spurs, which I know we didn't see a lot of him last season, or if you watched it for West Ham, very direct, very powerful, very creative, has a great shot on him, very clinical in the final third, can pass the ball well, can take players on, but his physical attributes are where he shines. He is very strong, not the tallest, but never gets bodied off the ball, never gets made to look weak or like he can't defend, or like sorry, like he can't hold the ball up by defenders. He is versatile, so he can play as like the left wing, the right wing can play in the 10. Which this season I want as much versatility as possible. Last year we struggled with players being locked into certain positions outside of Soboslai and Jones. We need players who can fill in because we will inevitably get injured, especially in a high intensity side like Andoni Iraola's. So we need players who can fill in across numerous outposts, sorry, of the pitch, and can do a serviceable job there. Um, People may say it's not realistic. Spurs might not want to sell this summer. Maybe give him another year. I think 55 to 60 million. They would let him go, especially with some of the players they've linked with, especially with their summer they have, and where they're trying to do a full overhaul of the squad to give the Zerbi the players he needs. With that being said, that is it for the incomings. In total, I believe that comes to 391 million, which is a lot to spend in one window. And I understand that it probably isn't realistic in terms of how long we've got left in the window, how many signings we made there. I believe it's 6 or 7 signings. But I'm going to move on to the outgoings now, the first of which being Cody Gakpo. For me, it is time we move on from Cody Gakpo. He's been here for 4 years. He's been a serviceable, great player for us. Last year, we saw that in that slot system, which potentially he could be great in the earlier system, but for that slot system, he was very lackadaisical, selfish, one-dimensional. Doesn't, like I said, doesn't offer much in terms of switching things up. We saw at times Kirkes and Robertson get in, disgruntled with him over his lack of willingness to pass them on the overlap. I believe 70 million. Rumor is Spurs would be interested in him. I believe for 70 million, Cody Gakpo should go out. I replace him with Bradley Barcola, as you already saw. And at 27 years of age, he's not going to get any better than he is now. Potentially a little bit, but I think we've seen the best of Cody Gakpo. And I believe that now is the time to move on from him, as I said. I don't think he offers the pressing qualities or the ability on the ball in technical tight spaces to play the nice 1-2 touches. He wants to hold on to the ball, get a great space, get a shot for himself, which can work for other teams. Didn't work for us last season. Obviously, there weren't really many threats around him, so whenever he had the ball, teams knew he wasn't going to pass it. Could work in another system if he went to a team like Spurs, where he would be one of the main guys there. Then he absolutely could work. Absolutely could be a great player. If he went abroad, just the same. But again, for me, Cody Gakpo should be sold this summer, especially if the opportunity to sign Bradley Barcola arises. Next up, fan favorite, but I think it is time to move on from Alexis McAllister. He showed at the World Cup he still has quality on the ball. He still can impact a game in a certain level, but his legs aren't there. He isn't physically equipped to play in an Iraola system, in my opinion. Can't get around the pitch, can't cover space, can't press at the same level he could even a few years ago, and even then he wasn't athletic and struggled to do so. No one, I think, can deny the fact that on the ball he can create magic out of nowhere, especially for teams who aren't playing against low blocks. He thrives in high intensity. I shouldn't say high intensity, in back and forth games where teams aren't just going to sit in a low block defend, because then I think he struggles to create or do much on the ball. I think he would suit the Spanish league or the Italian league perfect with their kind of one touch passing moving style of football that doesn't rely on too much running or athleticism. 60 million, I think, would be enough for Liverpool to consider selling him. I personally would, with obviously the additions of Manu Kone and Shao Gomez coming in. Personally, I don't believe we will sell him this summer. This is obviously my opinion, but Alexis McAllister been a great servant for us. Been here for 3 years. I think now is the right time to move on from him, whilst his value is still at an all-time high. Got three more players left for the outgoings, and then we'll move on to the final graphic. Last, third player, sorry, I would want to sell is Wataru Endo. Obviously, just broken his foot. Very unfortunate he missed the World Cup. Obviously, prayers up to Endo. Hopefully, he gets well soon. I think for about 4 million, you can see him leave the club. He's 33 years of age. He's not the profile or age that a manager like or coach would like Iriola would want to see in the squad. I also would like to promote players like Trey into the first team, and I don't believe Endo allows that route through whilst he's here, because he takes up one of the spots in the team. He's been a great servant for the club. I wish him nothing but the best. He's had some great performances for us, some not great performances for us. Barely saw him under Arne Slot. Mainly a versatility player. Apologies, playing at centre back at occasions. Rarely to close out games he would come on. I believe at this stage of his career, the Premier League's too much intensity for him. He can't keep up with it. We don't know how he's going to be recovering from that foot injury that's kept him out for numerous months. Again, I believe it is time that we say goodbye to Wataru Endo. Penultimate player I would like to sell is Federico Chiesa. Now, Iraola might come in and he might love his energy. He might love the way he presses and the fact that he is a versatile forward, can play across the front three. But I think we've all seen that, yes, there may still be a player in there, but the player we were hoping would come to Liverpool isn't. The player we saw at the Euros in 2020 is gone. I think we all knew that deep down when we signed him. 10 million for him, I think, is a fair deal. We signed him for, I believe, just about 14 million. We weren't ever going to make a profit on him, especially as he's a couple of years older now. I believe with Maria and Kudus coming in, there's not a spot anywhere across the front three for him. Uh, Potentially as a backup striker, but I wouldn't want to see that for him. Personally, I think he would do well to go back to Italy. Maybe he could play in another top five league. Maybe you could see him in a Turkey or a Saudi. But I think at this stage of his career, the the pace, the relentless, aggressive pressing just isn't there, and he's always going to give 100%. And I've got nothing but love for Chiesa. I was so happy when we signed him. I had a lot of faith that he would return to his form that he had at Juve or at Fiorentina. But I believe now is the right time to move on from him. This last one might shock people. I love him. His Dad's a Liverpool fan. I believe he was a Liverpool fan growing up. We only signed him last season, but I believe it is time to say goodbye to Jeremy Frimpong. I know it's only been 1 year, but he's not a right winger and he's not a right back. Iraola won't play with fullbacks, or sorry, wing backs, which is where he's best suited. He's not going to play with a back three. He can still offer something for Liverpool. I'm not saying he can't, but with the additions of Geertruida or Denez, Schlotterbeck, I believe there's probably not room for him, especially if Connor Bradley's coming back from injury. If we don't sign Geertruida, I would 100% keep Jeremy Frimpong. But again, this is not ifs, buts, and maybes. This is what I would do if I had £200 million to build Iraola's dream starting 11 or squad. So personally, I would sell Jeremy Frimpong. I love Frimpong. I was happy and excited to be signed him, but it was made abundantly clear that Slot didn't really think he was a right back, thought of him more as a backup right winger. I fear Iraola may feel the same, and I do not want to see Frimpong as a right winger for Liverpool in any capacity outside of maybe a game against Preston or Bolton or something in a cup game. Even then, I would rather play a player like Josh Abe or Kieran Morrison in that game as opposed to Jeremy Frimpong. Nothing against him personally. I think he's great energy, great vibes, great character for the squad. Can still offer something as a player. At 25, though, I think his value is only going to drop. I don't see him playing substantial minutes or playing a key part for Liverpool next season. So, with that being said, I believe Jeremy Frimpong should be sold this summer if all goes the way I hope so. That's it for incomings and outgoings. I'm going to bring up the final um, graphic, which is showing the income in 395 million, outgoings 184 million, bringing it to a net spend of 211 million pound, 11 million over my intended budget. You may argue it might be higher than that if certain clubs ask more for players than what I've listed. For me, I think those are fair prices. I think I think you might get a little bit more for the players that I've sold. So I think in the end, it roughly does balance out. Obviously, this is all based on pretenses that we sell these players and we sign these players. Chances are we will probably only sign a couple more players this window. I believe McAllister, Frimpong will probably stay, Chiesa will probably stay. Again, this was for me, if I was building Andoni Iraola's dream squad going into next season to challenge for the Premier League title or for major honours, this would be how I would work the window. With that being said, I'm going to end the video here. Please let me know in the comment section if you agree or disagree with any of the players I've mentioned for incoming or outgoings. Look forward to seeing more of me. I'm going to be live later tonight on this channel with some guests, hopefully. Again, if not, it'll just be me going through transfer news, my reaction to first day of preseason and the England-Argentina game. We're on the road to 100 subscribers, so it'd mean a lot if you're watching this and you aren't subscribed. Please do subscribe. Um, Honestly, it would mean a lot to me. I am so grateful for where I am already in my journey as a kind of a Liverpool content creator. And again, so grateful for the love and support everyone's shown me. Um, Big up Cal, Matt, Drifty, Luke, Ram, Jamie, and everyone who's I've had the pleasure of working with so far. And hopefully, I'm going to continue with this consistency, continue uploading every day, giving you guys something to enjoy or want to watch. Hopefully, providing opinions or takes or perspectives that maybe you don't see from other people. Um, Obviously, it's hard for me to truly express myself in a recorded video of this, but I love streaming. I'm going to keep streaming. We're going to do a mix of this, pre-recorded videos, and streaming. So look forward to that. But with that being said, please like, comment, subscribe, guys, on the road to 100 subs. Thank you all so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you all later tonight. Have a lovely evening, guys. Peace.